We are such creatures of habit and practice, and if you're listening to this right now, you're probably also like me. You like to reflect. You're not really into surface level understanding. And you're probably a bit prone to intellectualizing. You're probably a bit goal or even action oriented. Or maybe not. However, I think most of us can resonate with a goal oriented approach to life. It's how we were raised, it's how we're praised, right? It's like, oh, you accomplished XYZ, you've graduated, you've got straight A's, you have this job, you have this type of friend, this income, you live in this area. And so when it comes to things that actually feel crucial to our lives, finding purpose, we realize that we can't do that with the same goal-oriented approach that we use throughout the rest of our life, that we've been programmed to use and to strengthen the mind. And no, it doesn't work, because purpose is not a goal. Purpose is not an accomplishment, and it's not this static thing, this tangible thing. And if you're trying to find your purpose in a job, a career, or in a relationship, or in a particular role that you serve in your family, community, that, and I'm very sorry in some respects if this bursts your bubble, that is not your purpose. That is not your purpose. That's an identity. And we all have identities. It's just as it is, right? However, an identity is not actually who we are, which sounds ironic. It's sort of a persona, it's a role. It's exactly what a role is. And I think if you're someone who frequents my channel, or someone who resonates with what I discuss on here, number one, I want to say that this video was inspired by a comment left by Annabelle. First of all, hi Annabelle, I hope you're taking care of yourself and you're well, and thank you for your comment. She said, or she asked rather, in my previous video, so is life just pointless? Are we living in a simulation? Which is a very fair question. I find that the more that I, dive deeper in conversation with people, I mean, this is not the first time that I've been asked this, either, just kind of rhetorically, or that I've asked this in the past as well. I mean, I was actually talking to one of my dad's best friends who was visiting not too long after his wife passed, and he was, a very spiritual guy, and he was learning about how he's been connecting with his wife more spiritually after she passed on. And yeah, he was just kind of baffled and was like, yeah, if there is this higher spiritual realm, then what are we doing here? And it's again a perfectly valid question, and it's also something that I think I continue to grapple with, but I particularly was grappling with for about a year after sitting with Bufo for the first time, which I could make a whole other series of videos about if anyone's curious about that at all. But for now, I'll refrain from, going on a tangent. So, the reason why finding our purpose can feel so disheartening sometimes and confusing is because, let's say you have pushed past that wall of realizing, yeah, I'm not my job. My purpose is not, like, what am I doing here? Like, I realized I've come past, I pulled the veil and realized that, yeah, none of this is inherently meaningful. And that's exactly it. So we've established that we have been programmed with the idea that we have to be goal oriented, we have to do XYZ and perform as such. Perform, right? Even if it doesn't really feel authentic or honest. And we are prescribed meanings. We're prescribed meanings and definitions. So then, when we come to a point in our lives where we then realize that actually, no, nothing has inherent meaning, there's a kind of panic that can unleash itself. But that is actually the ticket to your freedom and to what purpose really is. You realize that, okay, actually, yeah, none of this has purpose, and I kind of have to start from the ground up, and that seems really daunting. I've subtracted so much of what I previously identified with, and now I'm left with this canvas. I feel kind of like a newborn baby. I feel very vulnerable. And again, we can choose to stay in that panic and resist it and freak out and be like, well, yeah, okay, sure. Well, nothing has meaning. And again, I think the reason why that sort of nihilistic viewpoint can become depressive if for a lot of people, nothing matters, nothing has meaning, is again because of the attachment we have to having a goal. Right? That egoistic mindset of always needing to achieve. And so when that's gone, it's like our ego is just like, what am I doing here? I'm meaningless. Instead of realizing I'm free of having these prescribed meanings and I get to choose. I get to choose what has meaning. I get to form my own opinions and beliefs. What? Crazy. And so when we're in this state of contemplation and perhaps panic, sometimes, of, oh my gosh, nothing has inherent meaning. What do I do about that? Angelica, what do I do about that now? I haven't been trained for this. I don't have the qualifications for this. I want you to just, as much as you can, drop that idea for a second. I know it's what we've been talking about for the past almost 10 minutes. I want you to think for a second about something that you have always enjoyed doing. Maybe it's dancing. I like using this analogy of dancing. Or singing, drawing, writing, playing a sport, taking a walk in nature, watching the sunset, watching a movie. What do all those things have in common? Well, they're acts of enjoyment. They just bring this sort of state of, acceptance, and I'm just okay with whatever else is happening for now. When we think of, I'm going to talk about dancing. When we think of dancing, we don't ask, what is the point? What is the point of dancing? Like, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, stupid. Like, or even if you're not doing any sort of technical dancing, just dancing in general. You don't ask, what is the point? You're not like, ugh, what's the point of having fun? What's the point of singing? If it makes you feel good, if you like doing it. Again, think about something that you enjoy. You don't think about what is the point. The reason that you do it is because you can, and it's nice to. There is no inherent goal or purpose. And that is exactly what life is. And I know it sounds really cliche, but it's true. The purpose of life is to love, to enjoy, to do that to the highest level that you can. And we have these experiences that we can choose to see as blessings and to see as opportunities for us to turn over a new perspective so that we can drop illusions and drop fears and prescribed meanings. If you analyze any anxieties and fears that you have, you'll realize that they're prescribed meanings. They're internalized phobias and insecurities, feelings and systems of beliefs of instability and lack and loss. Oh my gosh, I'm not good looking enough. I'm too irresponsible. I'm not capable enough to do that. Actually, I'm really not talented. I'm not good at speaking in front of people. I'm not a runner. I don't do that. They're all things that we've just maybe we picked it up when we were younger, or we just were discouraged very subtly at some point, and then we just clung on to it for dear life, and we gave that meaning. I always hated running growing up, and lore, I was a chubby kid when I was from the ages of like 10 to or 9 to 11, something like that. And I carried so much shame for that once I was made to be aware of the fact that that was considered socially unacceptable. And I felt ridiculed for the fact that I was not as, I guess, physically active or fit, or even just like appearing to be that way as compared to other kids around me. And I had this internalized idea that I wasn't a runner. I wasn't into cardio. Like, sure, I could do Pilates and stuff like that, but high impact, I can't do that. That's not me. I don't have the endurance for that. And this year I started running, and I hated it for a few months, but it was something that I just it felt good to do, even though it made me a little nauseous. I just wanted to do it, and now it's the best part of my day. And I love it. And it doesn't make me feel nauseous or like I'm going to die anymore, which is great. It took me like 6 months to get there, but I stuck with it. And that is just one example of how we can ascribe a new meaning to things. And it's just one little smaller and perhaps just, again, insignificant in the scheme of things, but then again, what is significant? You decide. It's allowing yourself to see through the veil and see that as a good thing. See that as a good thing. No, nothing has inherent meaning. Good. Good. No, my purpose isn't my job. Good. That did not fill that box. That did not fill that void. Good. Great, awesome, I'm freed of that. Because let's say you identify and you think that your purpose is being a soccer player and you break a leg or something, then what? Oh, suddenly my life has no purpose and I don't want to live anymore? That happens. That happens a lot in so many ways. And that's why it's important that we have this realization and that we have this reckoning with ourselves, realizing that, yeah, actually everything is pointless in a certain regard. I decide what things have meaning, what that meaning is. For me. For me. I am the sovereign judge of that. For me, not for other people. I'm not going around telling people what is and what isn't. No. For me. I know. I know what holds meaning for me and how I can use that to build good and to build wellness, because that's the place I'm moving from. Compassion and love. That is the only purpose. So, as long as you're in this place of love and enjoyment, being there for a good time. But actually, though, center yourself in that feeling. Next time you do something that you enjoy, ask yourself, is there a point to this? Why do I enjoy this? Can I pinpoint it? It's just like when you ask someone, why do you love your partner? I don't know. I can't pinpoint it, but it's one of the most significant, fulfilling things in life. To have a relationship that you are just deeply seen and loving towards one another, but you can't pinpoint it. You can't say what exactly the purpose is. There's so many facets. There's so many symptoms, and and the same ways, if we reflect on relationships with others and relationships with ourselves, we can say, I love this characteristic. I love that I'm smart. I love that I'm great at soccer. I love that I am an awesome dancer, singer, creative. But That's not me. I love that my partner is so intelligent and business savvy and cooks for me and takes care of me. And that's very, very significant. And I appreciate that so much. But even if they couldn't do those things for me, if they were incapacitated, if I was incapacitated, it doesn't mean that I no longer love them. Because ultimately, that inexplicable, ineffable love, that isn't just a feeling, it's not just a sensation, it's just that being. That is the purpose. That is the purpose. Being in that kind of flow. And it's a felt experience. I can't give it to you with words, but I can allow you, or I can encourage you rather, to experiment with it. So how can you do that? Find some time to do things, again, that you enjoy, and just notice how you feel. Notice how you feel. Notice what it feels like to be alive in the moments that you're just letting go, having harmless fun. It's a cliche, but it's not untrue when we say that life is the little moments, the quiet moments, the smaller moments, not the big achievements, not the finally getting to label yourself as that role or that position. You can talk to very well recognized and conventionally successful time and time again, and they're never ever going to tell you, yeah, that's what defines me. That's who I am, and that's my purpose. I mean, some of them will, but that's a more shallow understanding or shallower experience. I don't discredit those accomplishments. They're awesome. They're amazing. And I know that it feels good to accomplish. It does. That's also a part of life. But again, when we're going down a bit of a rabbit hole of what is my purpose, no, it's not those things. So yes, life is pointless. But is that a bad thing? You decide. You decide. You decide what the point is and what the purpose is. It's scary. It's vulnerable. It feels heavy. It feels like I have this weight and responsibility. Can I trust myself to decide what has meaning? That's another biggie. Can I trust myself? I could make a whole nother video on that. Whole series. I could spend the rest of my life on just talking about that. When really it can be encapsulated into just start trying. Just start trying. Trip, fall, get back up, do it again. It's a dance. So, with that, I encourage you. Just keep giving it a go. Stop putting so much pressure on finding your purpose, sticking to your purpose and beating yourself into shape for that. No. Drop that. Drop that. Find what feels authentic to you. That's what's actually going to keep you feeling driven instead of burning out or forcing, working from a place of that cold, hard discipline. You need to find a balance, a sustainable balance. That is your responsibility. You owe it to yourself to work and play, to rest and be active, to be well. You owe it to yourself. That's what love is. So with that, I hope this reached and touched some points and allowed for some clarity and openness and insight in at least one person. I've been really happy, and I think it's so cool that the things that I'm sharing has been yeah, just opening conversations, and I love to talk to you guys. And so please do continue to comment. I really do. It's so encouraging, and I know everybody says this, but if you do enjoy being here, I really do encourage you to like this video, to subscribe, and continue to comment and engage. I wanna know what is most inspiring. I really want to show up in the best way I can. And yeah, I mean, it also encourages me to continue to share more and more and be more open and vulnerable and helpful as much as I can be. Because I have all these conversations with myself, and I journal all the time, and I don't always sit down and press record, because one, it doesn't really always occur to me, and when it does, I sometimes think, maybe not. But yeah, the banter and the interaction and all the responses that I get, it really encourages me to continue to show up more. So with that, I bid thee adieu. I want you to take care of yourself. Continue to take care of yourself, treat yourself well, and I will see you soon.